Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So I am pre-recording this episode just because of the fact I am curious on how this team is going to do, obviously, in the playoffs. And obviously, we're looking to get some redemption here on the Vegas Golden Knights, who took us out last year after we won the President's Trophy. Now, this season was kind of a very good one for this team, and also, we did have a big loss at the end of the season in terms of we lost 10-5 to the Los Angeles Kings, and also this team did not win the President's Trophy this year, which means hopefully we have a better shot at winning the Stanley Cup this season. We finished fourth best in the league, so I feel much safer about maybe winning this first round matchup than I would have if we won the President's Trophy, because if you're Toronto, be realistic, you're likely going to be a first round exit. 125 points for them this season, but the way the game simulates, they're probably going to be a first round exit. But you can see we had a really good year, and yeah, we're going to be taking on Vegas, who just finished above us in the standings. They have home ice advantage because of, I believe it was ROW, probably. No, it wasn't ROW, was it? No, it was ROW. They had two more ROWs than us, because they had a lot more overtime losses, and we had a couple more regulation losses. So it's going to be really interesting to see who ends up winning this matchup. But yeah, I'm really impressed with how this team is turning it around still. Even with losing Bickle last offseason, this team still managed to win a lot of games, and also a lot of guys stepped up on the team. I believe I wrote down our stat line from our team. I am going to make a little line change, but I'll get to that in a bit. Basically, our first line was combined for 245 points and a plus 98. Our second line was combined for 201 points and a plus 49. Our third line was combined for 103 points and a plus 9. And then our fourth line was combined for 64 points only and a minus 33. So the fourth line has been kind of probably the problem with this team at the moment. And that's the only line change we're going to be making. As you can see, Wong has jumped up to an 82 already. I didn't even realize that. So he could technically play on a third line role. But basically, the problem with the team is definitely this fourth line. You could see Cox was a not minus 2. He was a minus 10 this season. Wong was a minus 8. And then I believe it was LaRose, yeah, minus 15. So we're going to make a little bit of a change in Wong. He's not actually that good at faceoffs, even though he is a center. LaRose isn't a center, but has better faceoffs. So that's the subtle change I'm going to make, is moving LaRose to center, so we could win more faceoffs on that fourth line. Also, we could make some changes like moving Wong up, that type of thing. But for the most part, our top six is pretty much set. Also, one thing that's kind of pretty cool about our defensive core is our defensive core was doing pretty good offensively this season as well, and they're all pretty good plus minus as well, because our defensive pairing 1 was combined for 79 points between Zikov and Moroza and a plus 38, so they're the best defensive pairing in terms of playing defensively. Second pairing was combined for 94 points and a plus 20, so this pairing is way more offensively minded than the top pairing. And then our top 6 pairing, which actually had Keenan and Strachan both play 41 games, was combined for 33 points and a plus 29. And then basically the depth defender, who's Strachan at the moment, had 7 points, was a plus 10. So we basically had 5 20 goal scorers on this team, 4 30 goal scorers, 1 40 goal scorer, and 11 players on our team scored 10 or more goals, which is pretty awesome. So I think the depth on this team is definitely really good still. And our goaltending at the moment is reliant on Cox. He didn't have, I would say, the best season, but he should still have a pretty good playoffs. And if he doesn't, we could always try running Taze, who is the youngster. I don't really know who I'm going to want to run in the playoffs, so I guess Kleenan's on trial. If he plays 2 games and he plays terribly defensively, I will put in Strachan. If Strachan plays 2 games bad, then we will go back to Kleenan, that type of thing. And also Cassian could get a chance to play in the lineup depending on, I guess, how he ends up playing, or how Cox ends up playing. Like, if Cox is bad defensively still, then we could always make some changes, and I could put him in instead. But anyways, we're going to be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, as I said, in the first round. A little bit of a rematch of last year. They do have a little bit of a different roster because they had guys retire and they signed some new pieces. But you can see they are running the youngster in Mangone. They're also running Buckley and Kidd, which is really good. Eichel is still there at 36. There's a lot of players on this team that could end up retiring, but there is also a good amount of young players. So yeah, it's a pretty good team over there in Vegas, and I could definitely see why they made it pretty far, especially when Adam Fox is still killing it pretty much in terms of point production. And they also brought in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, so we won't have to play Vasilevsky, but Luukkonen has been a pretty good goalie for Vegas in his first season with them. So let's get into this first round matchup and see if this team can make some noise this year, and hopefully we could not be a first round exit after a good season, because I always hate when you lose in the first round after you win so many games. Okay, so let's get into game number 1 and see if this team could play like they did basically when we went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So let's see what Derek Keith and company could do. Come on, boys. Game 1 in Vegas. First period, 1-1. I guess I'll take that. Leddy scores, but our captain in Jorgensen will tie the game up at 1. Shots are 12-11 in favor of us, so pretty even first period, a goal apiece, and also the shot chart is pretty similar. Good that we tied it up late. Actually, that goal was 6 seconds apart. I don't think that's really realistic if that happened, but they scored in our zone, and then we somehow managed to get it up the ice in 6 seconds and score a goal, so that's pretty interesting there. Let's see if we can get the lead in the second period if possible. Second period, 3-1 Vegas. Not good. Not good at all. Cox is off to a little bit of a rocky start here in the playoffs as Eichel and Kidd score. Shots are 23-20 and we're down by 2 goals. Can we have a third period comeback? We have had third period comebacks in the past in the playoffs. That was when we went all the way to the Cup Finals, but we haven't really had much since. But let's see what happens in this third period. We might have to make some changes. Parrott scores to get within 1. Power play, come on, boys. And we do not capitalize there. Usually Parrott always steps it up in the third, and Darby scores, and we have tied the game up at 3. Let's go, another third period heroic type of thing. Come on, boys, let's get that next one too. Good on Ted Darby to score a goal. And we are going to be going to overtime in game 1. Not a surprise. This is probably a type of series that could go all 7 games just because both teams had pretty similar regular seasons. So it's a 3-3 game. Shots are 31-30 in favor of Vegas. So very even game. Let's see what happens in overtime. Who wants to be that hero for us? And it's not going to be for us, unfortunately. Keandre Miller, who Vegas just acquired in the, I think in free agency last year, he scores the winner. And unfortunately, our comeback results in a loss. That really sucks in lose game 1 like that. Jorgensen from Darby, though. Paired from Keith and Hartnell, and Darby from Heracala in Jorgensen. Yeah, not the best game from Cox, to be honest. Like, let's take a look at some of these stats. Yeah, Cox wasn't the best in that game. Like, he had an 875 save percentage. Interesting. Not anybody super badly minus, but the fourth line, actually, well, Cox at least was -1. Might make some adjustments, but not just yet. If we lose back-to-back games, then I make some adjustments, but I think our team had a pretty solid game 1. It was just the goaltending. Like, if Cox plays another bad game, we're obviously going to give Taves the chance to play a game. Because I don't really care who wins me a Stanley Cup as long as we find ourselves a goaltender that could actually simulate in the playoffs. So here we go, game 2. Let's see if we could tie the series up headed home, because that would be pretty huge. Because then we'd have 2 games to give ourselves a chance to take a lead. So here you go, game 2, first period. Down 1-0, not great. Lilia scores on Cox, and we're being outshot 13-4. So our offense is nowhere in that period. So that's not a close period by comparison to the last game, because last game was pretty close throughout the entire game. But this time we're getting outplayed pretty badly after 1. So we definitely need to step it up in the second period if possible. Second period. Hey, there you go. We tie the game up, and it's Derek Keith. Let's go. Shots are a bit more even, but they're still a little bit outrageous because Vegas has a 7-shot lead, 21-14. Can we find a way to take the lead in this third period? Luukkonen hasn't been tested much in this game. Let's see if we can find a way to capitalize on that. Come on, boys. Let's get that lead here in this third period. Come on, power play. And there's a power play goal from Parrott. Let's go. Parrott's picking it up where he left off a few years ago with the clutch goals in the third period. I don't know what's with this guy in scoring in third periods, but he scores a lot of third period goals. Come on, let's lock it down. And yes, we're going to win 2-1. So another very close game. We got outshot 35-24, but a good bounce back game from Cox. So he will definitely start game 3. But Parrott gets a game-winning goal. We have seen that happen so many times in the past already. where Parrott gets a game-winning goal in the third period. So Keith from Colby Minen and Parrott from Keith and Zekov. Nicely done, boys. Nicely done. Yeah, Cox was definitely a lot better in that game. 971 save percentage, so he will start game 3 as well. But if he starts playing like trash, then, we have another backup that we could definitely give a chance to. And we also have Duncan in the minors we could try out too. And like I said, if for some reason somebody is really badly minus, like if Kalinen's not doing good at all, I will change him with Strachan to try and get our team to simulate a little bit better. Okay, so at least we have a tie series, and both teams have scored the exact same amount of goals through 2 games. So, yeah, this is definitely, I feel like, a series that could go 7 games unless one team kind of runs away with it at some point. So here we go. We are back on home ice. Let's see if we could take a 2-1 series lead on the Golden Knights. Come on, boys. First period of game number 3, and we are up 1-0. Let's go. Harakala scores, so good to see the offensive defenseman continuing to score goals, because he had like 12 goals, I'm pretty sure, in the regular season, so he is kind of like a goal-scoring defender, which is the only one we really have on the team. Shots are 10-9 in favor of us, so pretty even first period, despite us being up by a goal. Let's see if we could add to that lead in the second period. Second period, 2-1, I guess I'll take that. Darby made it 2-0, and then Cale Fleury scores with 47 seconds left, which is kind of scary. Shots are 19-18 in favor of Vegas. We're up by 1 goal. Yeah, this is definitely a tight series, as you would expect, though. Both teams finished with 111 points on the regular season, and both teams are like playing pretty much identically throughout these first 3 games. So let's see what happens in this third period, see if we can lock this game down and get some insurance if possible as well, because insurance is always nice to have. And Ross Colton ties it up. Damn it, we blew a 2-0 lead. And Vegas takes the lead. It's sharp. God damn it, guys. Hey, but we answered back. It's Walzer. Let's go, Felix. That guy scored 18 goals this season, so a good breakout year for Walzer. Good to see him scoring in the playoffs again. Final few minutes. Are we going to another overtime situation? Yes, we are. Man, yeah, this is a really neck-and-neck series. It's kind of a good series in a sense, because obviously it means anybody could win, but at the same time I would rather be blowing them out in a sense, but oh well. So shots are 29-26 in favor of Vegas, and it's a 3-3 game. Who wants to be the OT hero here in game 3? Last time we were in overtime, obviously we lost early on, so hopefully that's not the case this time around. Let's see what happens here in game 3. Come on, boys. Penalty kill in overtime. It's a long penalty kill. I don't know who took this penalty, and we lose in overtime on a non-power play goal, but Ross Colton scores, and once again we lose in overtime. Probably because whoever took that penalty gave them a ton of momentum. That's a very unfortunate loss. Who took that penalty in overtime? That was... Oh, we actually took 2 penalties. It was Hartnell and Farrell. Why did you guys take penalties? God damn. Well, let's take a look at our goal stats. Harakala from Parrott, Darby from Zekov and Jorgensen, and Walzer from Claxton and Festrini. How was goaltending? Probably not that great, right? Walzer and Darby got stars. That's just good, but we end up losing that game. Yeah, Cox has not been consistent enough. I am going to turn to Taze for next game. Maybe Cox is just tired from the regular season, but I mean, the only 2 games he's lost were both in overtime, so it's not really on him fully, but I don't know. The goaltending has been very inconsistent with him so far, so we're going to give Taze a chance. Maybe Taze is going to be a cheese goalie, and I could use a cheese goalie right now. And I'm also going to take... Kalinen's a +2, but I am going to take Kalinen out, try and clean up some stuff, and give Strachan an opportunity to play some playoff games as well, so... Just change up that a little bit because the offense has been okay. But we'll see if we could rebound from that OT loss again like we did in Game 2 after we lost in overtime. Been a very close series. All games have been 1-goal games so far. Can we find a way to blow them out and tie the series up, head to Vegas, because we want to be going down 3-1. First period of Game 4. And we're up 3-1. Let's go. That's exactly what I want to see. 3 goals on 11 shots. We're finally starting to find a way to score goals. Darby scores again, so Darby's up to 3 goals now in this series alone. Fox scores to tie the game up, but Jorgensen and Zekov score, and we are up by 2 goals. Shots 15-11 in favor of Vegas. Can we add to this lead in the second period if we can? Let's see what happens. And we give up a goal, so we're still up by a goal. But so far, Taze hasn't been terrible. 2 goals on 29 shots. That's not bad at all. But we're only up by a goal going into the third. We're being outshot 29-20. Can we hold on to this lead and get some insurance? Like I said, every game so far has been a 1-goal game. So please, boys, let's lock this one down and get some insurance here if possible. Power play. We do not convert, unfortunately, even though we have a good power play, and Culp ties the game up. God damn it. It's a 3-3 game. Is it going to be another overtime situation? This is such a close series. Oh my goodness, no, Taze. Don't do that to me. And yeah, we're going to lose, and it's a multi-goal lose because Buckley gets an empty netter. God damn it. We're down 3-1 to the Vegas Golden Knights, and we are very close to being a first-round exit again. Even though this team is technically better than it was on paper last season, even without losing Bickle, or with losing Bickle, this team is better, I'd say. And we're still losing to Vegas. Goddamn. Darby from Jorgensen and Zikov, Jorgensen from Darby and the other Zikov, and Zikov from Darby and Jorgensen. So Darby and Jorgensen, both the 3-point games in that first period, and we still lose. And yeah, it was not the best performance from Taze. So we will go back to Cox. How badly minus was Strachan in that game if he was? Strachan was not minus. Yeah, Strachan was an even 0. Not bad. Okay. Maybe we'll rework our lines around a bit, but we need to win 3 straight games now, which is not good. And 2 of them have to be in Vegas. So we have our back against the wall. The team needs to definitely step it up in terms of some reason. I don't really know what the problem is with the team at the moment. That second line's been good, so I don't really want to change it up too much. We are going back to Cox for sure. Let me take a look at this 4th line. No, it's the 4th line. Okay, Cox, you're out of the lineup, man. And that might be your last game here anyways, too. Cassian's going to get thrown in. And I am going to move Wong up. Actually, I want this line to be more defensively minded. I don't really know what to do with it other than just putting Cassian in. Cassian's not the best defensive, but he's got good stick checking. I know Festerini is good defensively-ish, but I don't want to drop him to the 4th line. And let's change up some things like moving Hercal up and making it Coley Minen and Moroza. And I think, let me take a look. 1638. How did he do in that one game in terms of like blocking shots and stuff like that? Like, was he effective at least? 3 hits in that one game. He did block a shot. How about Kalinan's stats when he did play those 3 games beforehand? He had 8 giveaways, 3 block shots, 1 hit. So he wasn't blocking as much shots. He wasn't throwing as much hits. And, yeah, he gave away the puck a ton. So, yeah, Kalinin is going to stay scratched because of that. Also, do we want to change up our lineup in a sense? The second line's been good so far. It's been better than our top line, I'd say. Yeah, Hartnell's been quiet. Let's change Jorgensen and Hartnell. Try and change up a little something, even though I don't want to be necessarily screwing with the second line. Yeah, just Hartnell hasn't scored a goal yet, so we're going to change that up a little bit too. Okay, let's see if we could win 3 straight games here. It's going to be a tough task considering Vegas is a very solid team, but are we going to lose to Vegas for 2 straight years in a row in the first round? Let's go real-time simulation since it's an elimination game, see if we can fight our way back into the series. And we give up an early goal. That's not a good sign. Keandre Miller. Literally, those OT losses we could have won in, and we could have been leading the series or tied in the series, but unfortunately, we just couldn't find a way to get those clutch goals. And we are going to be down 1-0 after 1. Shots are 12-10 in favor of us, but we have yet to score a goal. That's not good. I'm not liking our chances of winning this series now. I felt more comfortable going into the playoffs than I did when we won the President's Trophy, but now that this team is losing games, I don't really feel that comfortable at all. Let's see what happens in the second period. See if we can tie the game up. Power play early on, and we do not convert. God damn it, guys. Maybe I should have changed up our special teams. I don't know how they're even doing right now. Come on, guys. We need to get a goal here. We've been scoring goals in the last few games. We definitely need to score goals in this game too. And we are going to be down 1-0 still going into the third. Shots are 24-17 in favor of us, but we have yet to score a goal. We need somebody big to step up here and get this game to at least to another overtime situation. Come on, boys. Let's tie this one up here. This might be our last period of the season. Come on, boys. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties. Power play, please. It's a long 5-on-3, and we did not convert. It's that type of game, huh? It's that type of game. Final 5 minutes. We have yet to score a goal. We have so many shots on goal, and then Fox scores. And, yeah, we're going to be ousted in the first round again, as we lose 2-0 to Vegas and losing 5 games only. So worse scenario than last year even, as their offense does not show up in that game. God damn it. Cassian was a -1. Maybe I shouldn't put Cassian back in. It wasn't on Cox. Cox was good that game, but we just got completely outplayed defensively. And yeah, Lukonen made 39 saves. First round exit again. That sucks, especially considering we went to the Cup Finals in our first ever playoff run, and now we can't get over this first round. I mean, at least we should be able to keep this team mostly together, but we might end up losing Jorgensen this offseason, which would be a pretty big loss. That sucks. Let's take a look at our player stats for that first round. Unfortunately, we lose after a pretty good season. So let's take a look. Parrott had 4 points in 5 games. Zikov had 3 points. Keith had 3 points. Claxon and Hartnell only 1 point and no goals. So that kind of the depth scoring definitely wasn't there. And Hartnell, after a good third season, was actually not that good in the playoffs. He only had 3 shots on goal over those 5 games as well as a sniper. That's not good. Castian had nothing in 1 game, and Wong was terrible defensively in the playoffs. Left wing wise, Darby 6 points in 5 games. He was really good. He's listed as a second liner, which is kind of funny. So he might get a lot of growth this offseason. Festerini 1 assist, only no goals. So yeah, the depth scoring definitely wasn't there. And then Cox nothing. Jorgensen 6 points in 5 games, really solid. Walzer 1 goal in 5 games. After scoring 18 in the regular season, hopefully he could score more goals in the future. LaRose -5, yikes, and no points. But then again, he is only an 18-year-old, so maybe we kind of rushed him into the lineup a bit. And then defensively, Harakala had 2 points, Zikov had 2 points, Coley Minen 1 point. So our defensive core that picked up a lot of points in the regular season just did not do that in the playoffs. That's not good. And goalie-wise, Cox was good. Taze was not good in his 1 game, but yeah, basically Cox was kind of streaky at times. But his only 3 of his losses, 2 of them were in the extra frames. So, well, at least Cox is also only 21. So, but yeah, that really sucks. Not a lot of plus players on our team. Guys like Moroza, who are normally really good defensively, were -5. First round exit really sucks. And did Toronto get past the first round after winning the President's Trophy? They might be. That's kind of surprising. Let's them lead up to those awards and all that stuff. Retirements. And then we will get set up for next off season, which hopefully we can keep this team together and add some good pieces in as well, get some good growth, or else this team's window of opportunity to win a Stanley Cup might be minuscule. So Anaheim is going to win the Stanley Cup, and Belleville won the AHL. Let's take a look at the playoff tree first to see what happened. Oh, Toronto got all the way to the Cup Finals. See, if we won the President's Trophy last year, we should have gotten all the way to the Cup Finals at least, like what Toronto just did. But Anaheim's going to win the Stanley Cup. Let's take a look at those awards. So Anaheim, the Stanley Cup champions. Toronto, the President's Trophy winners. And it was Anaheim, Toronto for the Stanley Cup. Austin Matthews, the Art Ross, and the Hart. Brant Clark is going to win the Norris for the 2nd time in the last 4 seasons. Alex DeBrincat wins the Lady Byng. DeRocher for Colorado is going to win the Calder. Zegras wins the Conn Smythe for Anaheim. Shogard wins the Vezina and the Jennings. Steen wins the Masterton for Carolina. Malak wins the Adams for the Kraken. Byfield wins the Selke for the second straight season and third time in the last 5 years. So no Selke for Keith this year just because Byfield beat him out. Matthews wins the Lindsay and McKinnon wins the Maurice Richard. AHL award-wise, any awards for AHL affiliate? Does not look like it, unfortunately. So there you go in terms of the awards. Let's continue simulating up to the draft and the retirements and all that stuff. So Calgary's got first, followed by Dallas, Philadelphia, Chicago, and St. Louis is your top 5. St. Louis actually got that one from Arizona via trade, I guess. Interesting. Okay, retired players for the season. Probably nobody on our roster because our roster is still relatively young. But best player to retire was Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm, Bo Horvat. Yeah, this is a pretty good retirement class. A lot of guys over 500 points. So I'll skim through that a little bit. Okay, so there is that. Let's take a look at goalies. UC Saros Sorokin retires. Good retirement class in terms of goaltenders as well. A lot of goalies that played a lot of games. This might be one of the most best goaltending retirement groups I've seen. Interesting. So there we go on that front. Let's see if any of them become coaches. Sanheim's now a coach. That's an interesting one. And did we lose any coaches? We lost Biedrich Kochi from Burnaby. I don't think that was the head coach of the AHL team, but if that was, we will have to look for a new head coach for the AHL. We aren't going to do any draft interviews because I never do that. Let me take a look at the coaching staff thing for a second just to see who that was from our coaching staff in the minors. That was not our AHL head coach. Okay, that's good. That's good. We might need to find ourselves some more coaches for the NHL in order for our team to win more games in the playoffs or something. But let's take a look at the contract situation and the progress reports. We'll start off with the progress reports, and then we'll get to the draft class and all that stuff, seeing what there is for next episode for us to get it. But let's see what we got here. So, wow, Byron Farrell, which is the forward Farrell, not the defensive one, has jumped up astronomically in natural growth. He's a 79 now, listed as a depth forward, so he will definitely be in our lineup next season, so at least that's going to give us some more depth. Darby has jumped up to an 86, which is a mix of natural and statistical growth. So he's going to be really good for our second line next season, which is nice. Jorgensen, a lot of statistical growth from him. He's an 89, and his contract is like up this offseason, so he's going to be pretty expensive, but we might have to try and bring him back as much as possible. Wong up to an 81, which is nice. Keith, the 92. A lot of statistical growth probably on this team. And Hartnell, a mix of natural and statistical, but he is an 87. He's an RFA this season, so we need to qualify him and hopefully get him for cheaper. But yeah, it's not too bad. Walzer is still 77, so Walzer might be out of the lineup soon because of that. Also Cox, not as in the goaltender, but the forward, he might be gone too. He's a minor scoring forward. He might get replaced by somebody like Byron Farrell. So there's that. I don't know why to say Duncan's going to be our backup. I mean, Duncan could play as our backup. He's listed as a fringe starter now, but he had elite potential before. In the system-wise, yeah, Taze didn't grow anymore. Hardigan's up to a 60. He was that low backup that we drafted randomly that had some good stat lines, but he's not growing too much. And then Koskinen went up to a 58. No growth from Canone, probably because he was scratched, so I should probably actually play him next year. Danner jumped up to a 73. That's good to see because he's one of the OFDs that we have in our system. He might not make it because he's 21, but who knows? Maybe he just needs a chance. But yeah, we're getting some growth in the minors, which is good to see. We don't have a lot of forward prospects, I think, down there. But Mulder, a 4th rounder top 6 that I signed, he's up to a 67 at 23, so I don't think he's going to make it really. Bartlett's up to a 63. Was that the enforcer? Yeah, that's the enforcer, right? Yeah, low elite enforcer jumped up to a 58 at 20. We'll see if he ends up making it. Reinhardt, who we drafted, that low top 6 is up to a 69 at 20. That's pretty nice. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's that. What about LaRose? Did LaRose get any growth? Because I didn't take a look at LaRose. He's up to a 77. Mostly statistical growth, though. Interesting. I don't know if I rushed him or not. Hopefully not. But yeah, our team should be still pretty good next season if we have this team mostly together. Because, like, look, Keith, Parrott, Hartnell, Zikov, Wong, Claxton, and Farrell, all really solid. And then we'd still have Darby. Maybe we'd have Festerini. He dropped down to an 80 overall, though. So maybe we get him back for cheap. And then we have Cox, who we probably would be letting go of. We have Jorgensen, hopefully, who we could re-sign. And in this defensive core, hopefully we can keep together as well. And goaltending will more than likely be Cox and Duncan. I don't know if I'll run Taves this year, next season or what, but yeah, it's not looking too bad. So there's that. Let's take a look at the contract situation. Who's up for renewal again? All expiring. So yeah, Jorgensen's the big one right now. He wants a lot of money and a lot of term. I don't really know if he's worth that much amount of money. He does produce really consistently, but I would really like to keep this guy around if we can somehow. So we'll see if we're able to. Coley Minen, at least with Hartnell and Harakala and Farrell, I could qualify all these guys. But I should probably sign guys like Coley Minen to big contracts, but he's trying to get like $20 million right now, so I don't think I could do that. But yeah, I would try and qualify some of these guys if I can, or sign some of these guys long term, but their asking prices are astronomical, so we might just have to keep on giving them 1-year deals. And then yeah, Festerini, his asking price is around the same, but we might be able to keep on to him. Yeah, this team should be pretty good next season. We should be able to get most of the team back, I'd say, depending on how much cap space we have. Also, Cox, our goaltender's up for renewal, which is kind of scary. He wants $5 million. Or if we go 8 years, 8.35. I don't know if I want to give him an 8-year deal or not. And then we have guys like Duncan, who wants to be a backup pretty much. So those are who is up for renewal. And final thing, the draft class. Are we going to be able to find ourselves some more good players to fill out a roster for next season? Let's see what we got. Where are we drafting actually first? Because I don't actually know what overall we have for our draft pick. We are drafting at number 26 this year, which I believe is similar to where we were last year. So what do we got around 26? We got Mateo Downey, who is a defenseman that I can't really tell much on, unfortunately. We might have to start getting new scouts again, because some of our scouts aren't doing the best job. Dembski might be a top 6, so he might be okay. Bomeister, NHL ready defenseman, wow. And he's an OFD. So Jeffrey Bomeister might be what we need. We have one offensive defenseman, but still, Jeffrey Bomeister might be good. He'd be AHL eligible, so we could throw him to the AHL right away, give him 1 year in the AHL before we actually play him into our top 6 and stuff like that. Just because guys like Kalinin and stuff like that might eventually leave. But yeah, Bomeister I think might be a good option, since he's an NHL ready defender and he's OFD. That would be kind of cool. It's better than getting a top 9 right there. What else do we got though? Want to see if there's any good steals here in this first round. Also, Skylar Kraus might be NHL ready. He's a right-handed defenseman. Elite speed, but he is a two-way. So Bomeister and Kraus, both of them are from Norway. Those guys might be intriguing. And what's interesting is they're both teammates. I don't think I've ever seen that, where there's 2 first-rounders that are from the same country, and they both play for the same team. One's a left-handed shot, one's a right-handed shot. Like, they probably were defensive pairing players over there in Ukarit. Like, 18 points in 54 games. Bomeister had 10 points only, but 10 points is an OFD. Interesting. So one of those two might be interesting, or somehow being able to get both would be nice. But obviously, since this is Draft to Glory, we won't be able to do that. 2 years out for Sagan. Sagan is also a good option, though, because he's top 6. We don't have a lot of right-handed shots and right wingers. So Sagan also could be a good option. He's a power forward. Wow, this is an interesting draft. We have 3 good choices to choose from at least. And then there's some other top 6 forwards that are supposed to go in the next round. There's one that's even listed as a gem. Yeah, this actually might be a good draft this year, so we might be able to help fill our roster a little bit. Let's take a look at potential, see if there's any low elites or medium elites in later rounds. There's a medium elite goaltender. We'll just pin everybody that's medium elite just in case. Somic is also medium elite, did I see? Yeah, 3 medium elite goalies. At least. Jeez. Chuck O'Brien, probably not that good if he's medium elite, but he is a gem. Yeah, this draft class might be one of the best draft classes we've seen in a while. Any low elites? There's a low elite offensive defenseman that's a 7th round pick. I gotta take this guy. He might not have the greatest stats right now, but a low elite that's a 7th rounder and an offensive defenseman makes me think this guy's gonna be somehow a steal. So if that is the case, that'd be nice. But there is a lot of options out there in terms of this draft for sure. So basically our first round choice is either going to be, I'd say, Kraus, Bouwmeester, or probably that Ford in Sagan. So you guys can let me know down below on who you think we should be taking. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So next episode, we'll take it to another full off season. We'll try and keep this team as much together as possible. Especially, I want to keep Jorgensen if we can. And yeah, hopefully this team makes a good run next season, because 2 first-round exits in a row to Vegas is going to start to weigh on my conscience a bit. So guys, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.